statement, and then we'll go right into questions. Coach?
Hey guys, good walkthrough today for us. You guys know tomorrow we pick it back up a little bit. Guys have been great throughout the course of the week. I think we continue to grow in our practice habits. You've heard me say it before, and we're still stressing that the urgency and focus during the last 72, 48 hours of preparation will be big for us. You guys know we have some guys that are nicked up today. Some of those guys were able to move around. Don't have a final call on those guys. We'll find that out tomorrow where we're at with some of those injuries.
Questions? Oh, start again.
Justin, talking to some of the guys, some guys just seem perturbed that they lost that game, and it seemed to be a little bit of a motivating factor. How do you prefer that balance between guys really hating to lose, but then also keeping things in perspective?
If you don't hate to lose, you're in the wrong game, wrong environment, wrong building. That's important to me. It's important that we take ownership of the things that we certainly can control, could have controlled last week. Everybody wants to and is going to try during the course of the game, but your habits all lead up to it. We've gotten better. We're not where we need to be, but I think that ownership's really important. I said it earlier this week, that, or maybe on my radio show last night, that I've seen some leaders start to take a more vocal and active role in some position groups, and I think that's important too.
Go to the back.
Who are some of those vocal leaders that you kind of that stuck out to you?
I don't want to get into just a couple of guys. You know what I mean? There's been a couple guys on offense, a couple guys on defense that, to me, are starting to thrust themselves forward, or did this week. I'd like to see it more consistently before I just start commenting on that publicly.
Rob?
Coach, Missouri's been really, really good on third down. What has kind of led to that success? I think the top of the SEC.
Yeah, so, some of it is the third down situations that they've been in. You know, I mean, they do a good job of running the football, and you're in manageable situations there. I think their running back's a big part of it, their ability to use him in the pass game and find mismatches. Quarterbacks played consistent too, and you know, their protection up front's been really pretty solid as well. You put all those pieces together, you got a chance to be highly successful on third downs. That can't be it.
At the risk of some levity, do you have to bring that list of game balls?
You know what? I will get it to Bill. It's great. I actually thought about that a couple of days ago and didn't get it. I will get it to Bill, and you'll get it this afternoon. Okay? Only do those on wins. Okay? We'll start putting that out every week.
Let's go to the back of Tim. We'll get a mic to you since it's being streamed.
Coach, I know you mentioned the injuries and you're not ready to make a decision, but quarterback position, I got to ask, do you know who's going to start on Saturday?
Geronimo, our team physician, will make that decision here tomorrow. Didn't think I'd get out of here without that question.
Coach, Missouri's pass rush, they've been really good. I think 13 sacks in 4 games. You guys struggled a little bit that way against Florida. How big of a concern is that?
Big part of the game. It's big being able to protect your quarterback, in particular on third downs, but normal downs too, first and second down. That is, the sacks put you in really long yardage situations when they happen on normal downs. But it's also part of the field position game too, and changing the way the game's played when the other side of the football goes out on the field. And you know, for us, we got to do a better job. And when you hear the word sacks, everybody thinks offensive line immediately, but it's all pieces of the puzzle. It's your wide receivers doing the right things and being on time and winning versus press man at times, and then it's your running backs in protection, and it's your quarterback too. So all 11 got to play together, but that is a big part of the football game on Saturday.
Are they getting home with 4?
Sometimes it's been 4. Sometimes it's been pressure too. It hasn't just been one thing.
Coach, you talked about Missouri being good on third down on offense. What do you guys need to do on defense to be better on third down and get off the field more frequently?
Some of it's making the play on third down. want to be in longer yardage, and then you got to win some of those one-on-ones and get yourself off the field. Part of that is tackling on first and second down to change the way of the game. It's played on third down too.
Coach, you said yesterday that the secret sauce to your offense is often the running game. How do you feel like your team has been in the run game through 4 games this season?
Yeah, I just think over the past 5 years, some of the numbers that we've put up in the passing game get a ton of the attention, but the run game is a staple of who we are, and to me, it's got to be where we start. And I think at times we've been really efficient. I don't think we've been as consistent as we're capable of. Some of that's just execution. Some of that's running backs pressing the line of scrimmage, understanding the scheme versus the front, and having their eyes on the right spot to read it the right spot and get to the open grass. Some of it's been our personnel being moved around and just not being as efficient as we're capable of up front.
What are your memories of being at Mizzou there for a couple of years? I know it's a place it's kind of away from a little bit of the rest of the league, geography-wise, I guess if I can say it right. What are your memories of being there and sort of the challenges of that program?
There's challenges, and we had some success there too. When we got there, I think we were in a rebuilding process of that program, just from the personnel to the behaviors to just everything that was going on inside of the building. Ton of growth, evolution while I was there. Obviously, offensively, highly successful, in particular the second year, and quarterback play that improved as we went.
Two things. Oftentimes, I guess programs have guest speakers, whether it's VFLs or anything like that. Any recent speakers to the team that you guys have had?
Haven't had anybody.
Okay.
No.
And then obviously, there in the passing game, there's decisions for the quarterback on where to go with the football and reads and things like that. Talk about how your wide receivers have handled some of those options to make sure they're getting into the right route to help the quarterback.
I think we've seen steady growth. We're not where we need to be. Or where we want to be, but we have seen growth over the last 4 weeks. They got to understand man zone, be able to run versus man, and then shut it down in the zone. Quarterback's got to be able to read it out the same way too, and there's just a level of efficiency that we can be better at. There's some really positive things from the other night. There's growth. Just not enough of it. This week will be a huge part of that too.
Last 2 questions, Jake and Wes.
Coach, when you were hired here, they included a graphic from Drew Lock and just kind of your relationship with him. Have you had a chance to talk to him about going back to Mizzou or exchanging anything with him this week?
I have not talked to him this week. I have talked to him a couple times during the course of the season and in the preseason, just as he was going through a quarterback battle too, but this week he might be wearing black and gold instead of orange and white.
Josh, as you've sort of seen Jacob Warren develop, the past few weeks and throughout the offseason, what's the next stage for him in his game to become a more complete player? What's the next couple things he's got to do?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of things, just continued physical development, lower body strength in particular for him. It's going to help him in the run game and pass protection. I think he's gaining a ton of understanding of what we're doing, the reason why behind it, and being able to understand what he's seeing on the other side of the ball and be able to anticipate what's going to be happening.
Really quickly, Eric.
You mentioned this last night about how the plays aren't necessarily scripted, but you have drives scripted to kind of begin the game or the half. How does that change, and what goes into kind of charting that, the week ahead?
It's good to know you guys are listening to the radio show. You're trying to give your kids what you anticipate your starters being for each series. They have an understanding of what's coming and what we've seen and what we're anticipating. I think it gives them ease isn't the right word, but confidence in going out there that here's what we're thinking potentially on our third down, different situation calls. Here's our normal down package, how we're anticipating it rolling out at the beginning of a series. We do that, for our first couple, 3 series during the course of the ball game. They'll have that on Friday nights and what you think your third down and tight zone calls might be when you get into those situations right off the bat. I think it just gives them confidence and understanding, that this is what's happening. As you come off and make adjustments based on what you're seeing, and there's a bunch of things that may be different from front to coverage to, pressures, and you're able to get that adjustments made between the course of the drive and then move on to the next one.
Thank you.
Guys, have a great one.